Hey, what's going on everyone? Joel Wallace here. So today we're going to be talking about the new Lacie Boss hard drive and how you can use this out in the field to be able to drop your footage onto this drive without having to use a computer. We're also going to be doing a drop test to see how well this, taking an impact. If we dropped it, is it going to still work? We'll do some speed tests with the computer to see how fast this drive is. And as well as I'm going to show you how to be able to connect it up with your iPad or a phone to be able to organize your footage or to be able to see your footage and how you can use that through there. So let's jump on in and I'll show you what we got going on here. All right, so to begin with, there's going to be some differences you may have known about the Copilot. Now the Copilot is going to be the gray. It also is a spinning hard drive of 2 terabytes. And this one is a 1 terabyte, so we are decreasing in storage, but this is an SSD, so now we're increasing in speed and reliability because there's no moving parts. Those are going to be the main things that you're going to see the differences between the Boss and the Copilot. So starting here to the left, this is the power. So if you had the AC wall charger, this will charge up the unit. You can also charge the hard drive by using the USB-C port right here. So then we can charge this. You can also connect this up with a computer for communicating to be able to see the drive for your footage. Next, over here, we have a USB port. Now, this port is pretty sweet because we can actually use a card reader. So now we can take, say we were shooting on our Canon 5D, we're out shooting some stills or video, and we want to be able to drop the media. We can actually take the card and now we just put it into our card reader. And now we're able to plug it right on in just like that, and now we could drop the footage onto the hard drive from here. But we'll kind of come back to this, just showing you right now what the ports are for connecting everything up with it. Next, we're going to have a SD card slot. So we have that right there, so we can put in our SD card. Now, for those of you that are using the Samsung T5, like say on the Blackmagic cameras and other cameras that use a SSD, the way that you can drop your footage, because I actually tried dropping it in the USB-C port and I found out that you can't transfer footage on the go out in the field using that port. Is just for charging and connecting to a computer. So what you'll need to do is with your SSD cards, depending on the connection, you'll need to use the USB type from here to the USB-C. Moving on down the line, so here we actually can unravel this cable and we can remove this piece out. This here, it actually comes with several other connections. So if we had an Android phone or a phone that uses the micro USB, we can attach this in for connecting up your phone or your tablet. And then our other part is we have a USB-C connection as well. So for other phones that use this connection or going to a computer, you have that capability. And it just easily pops right out of the drive, and that's where this will plug in. So that comes with the hard drive. A cool hack with this hard drive is you can actually use this as a power bank. So if I'm out in the field shooting a vlog with my phone and I've got low power, what I could do is actually plug this into this drive, and then this will supply power, giving me that extra bit to be able to continue on with my shoot. And then I can also just drop my footage right onto this drive from there. Another cool thing that you could do with this is you could actually drop your downloaded movies onto this drive, and then you could then watch them through your phone. So if you're on a flight and need some extra entertainment, just drop your videos onto this drive and then you can watch it through the phone. I'll put links down below to this drive for you in case you're interested in checking it out or want to pick up one for yourself. So that's the fundamentals about this drive. What we're going to do next is we're going to go out in the field and actually put it to use. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot some video and stills. We'll drop it on here, and then we still got a drop test to see if this survives. And then we also have a speed test that we're going to do with this. So let's jump on out to the field. All right, so I just snapped off some photographs and some video of this backdrop here. This is actually one of my go-to spots for doing some sweet time lapses. Obviously, I would need a longer lens to be able to really get the clouds going over the mountains for that kind of shoot. But anyway, I got some footage here in this Canon 5D. So let's go ahead and take out this card and drop it into the Lacie Boss to see if we can transfer it out here in the field and how it works. So let's check it out. All right, so there's a couple ways that you can drop your footage. You could just put the SD card in straight to the drive and just do copy. It's gonna copy everything off of that card. The second way that you could do this is you could actually use your phone connected. So within my phone connected, now I can actually see the hard drive. I can actually go into the actual SD card. And what's really cool about with the SD going through this way is that, say I don't want to drop everything that I have that's on the card, I just want to take select files. So I can actually go in, and now I can go into the DCIM folder for this Canon 5D, and this will allow me to be able to go in, and now I can select certain files that I want to be able to have, and say there's just other ones that are not that great. I can now choose my select. So now this shot, I like this one looks good. So now I can go in and hit the save file for that. I already have this one on the drive, so I'll go ahead and replace that one, copy complete. So then I can keep going through, and I can just keep searching through all the files that I like and be able to select those. Or else I can go in and up on the very top corner, then I can just go ahead and hit copy the SD card and do full copy, and now it's going to go ahead and download all the files directly from there. So a couple different ways that you can do this. It just depends on your preference, but it's cool that it be able to have those options for different levels of just dropping the whole card or being able to take select files to be able to copy them to the hard drive. So that's pretty neat. Let's do a drop test. Let's see how far that we can drop this drive. All right, so this is the drop test. I'm about 1 story up on a parking garage. I'm definitely more than what the manufacturer recommends, so let's just drop it. Oh! Did it make it? Doesn't look damaged. I broke it. All right, so this is the drive. It got a little dirty, but I don't see any cracks or anything after dropping it off of the 1 story there. So let's go ahead and connect this up, and let's see if the drive still works and we're able to still see our files. There we go, it recognized it. So now we're connected. See the Lacie backups. There's our files. There's the DCIM folder, the 5D. There's everything right there. So let's play one and see, just make sure that it's not corrupt. Everything is there. All right, so it survived the drop test. If it were not to survive, a really cool feature that comes actually with this specific drive and some of Lacie's other hard drives is their rescue data services. What this includes with it is a 3-year period, and it's a one-time only where they can go in and they will try to rescue your data. They have actually a really high greater chance of recovering it. It's not guaranteed, but still a really cool feature that, you know, if this went underwater, if, you know, you dropped it and it didn't survive, or even if you formatted this and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I didn't back up my footage and now it's gone forever. No worries, you could send this in to Lacie within the 3 years, and it's a one-time, and most likely they'll be able to recover it. Again, it's not guaranteed, but still a cool feature that you could send this in for no charge and they'll try to rescue your footage. All right, so let's see how fast this hard drive is. I've already got it connected to the computer here, and I'm using the Blackmagic, their disk speed test. Let's go ahead and select target drive, and then we'll go over here to the Rugged Boss, open. All right, and start speed test. So it looks like write speed, we're coming in roughly 395 megabytes. I believe the manufacturer said 400, so that's actually pretty darn close for, with marketing, how they always say it's actually higher than it actually truly is. But there we go, now it's over 400 megabytes for the write. Our read came in at 415. We just fell right below, but still, that's pretty on point for what they've said in actual real results. Especially for a drive out in the field, you know, it's not something that you edit off of, so you don't need something crazy fast. This is more of an archive or a backup drive. All right, so I'm gonna do another test. This is actually bonus. I had not planned on doing a crush test to see if this drive would survive if we drove over it with a car. According to the manufacturer, this has a 1-ton rating, which equals 2,000 pounds. My Jeep, on the other hand, is about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, but the entire vehicle won't be driving over it. It would just be a tire, so we're probably still safe. But anyway, let's give this a shot, because I think that out in the field, sometimes we're in a hurry or just trying to grab and go, and we accidentally leave the drive on the car and drive off and maybe drive over it, or someone else drives over it. And so let's see if this will survive driving over this hard drive. Give it a shot. All right, let's see if it survived. Well, there's definitely tire marks on here, and it does look like it maybe got crushed in a little bit. So let's go ahead and connect this drive up and see if our footage still is there. So it looks like we may have actually really maybe damaged this drive, so we may not be able to plug this in, because just taking this apart, we actually knocked this plate off of here. So our button is not lining up to be able to turn it on. All right, so we got the on, yes. So now it's powering on. Yeah, you can see like the port, so it probably wasn't even reading the phone because this is all actually like bent up. But the physical drive here looks like everything's all intact. So let's see if we can now plug this in, and let's see, make sure I have the right way. There we go. It does work. So there it is. I'm able to go in, Lacie Boss. I can go up to the backups, and there's my footage. There's everything again playing. All right, so the drive still works. Now, I definitely don't recommend doing this at home, because then you'll probably ruin your drive and it won't work properly. But it's really cool to know that my footage is still here and this drive is actually still working, and I'm able to still see it through the app. So really cool test that we did here. Yeah, we kind of destroyed a drive, but that's super awesome that if it were to happen, your valuable footage will still be there. So super rad. All right, well, that's a wrap on the new Lacie Rugged BOSS SSD hard drive. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comments. I'll also put my email address down below for you. And if you're interested in picking this up, feel free to click on the link down below for my affiliate link and to get yours, or if you want to check out more about the product. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thank you.